Joe's Pants. Act 1, Scene 1. Setting 1860s. The cozy, careworn New England Civil War era. Parlor of Little Women, Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy. The girls have made a stage banner, the Little Women's Pickwick Club Theatrical, presenting Josephine the Avenger, Revenge of the Yellow Wallpaper.
As the second sister of the four March sisters, and hence the second officer of the Pickwick Club, let me lead you in welcoming our new member of the PC, Theodore Lawrence.
Here, here. Bravo, Laurie.
Bravo, Teddy. Teddy will be filling the shoes of Meg, or should I say, Samuel Pickwick, in today's theatrical. It'll be spandy hard to replace Meg. She was our best villain, and my best friend. I don't see why she had to leave us and get married.
Let it go, Joe. Let's have a rum.
You're right. Welcome to Orchard House. Enjoy our adaptation called Revenge of the Yellow Wallpaper.
Curtains drawn. Silence. Charlotte, in a day bed, in a dressing gown, stares ahead, almost catatonic.
There is one marked peculiarity about the wallpaper in this room. A thing nobody seems to notice but myself. And that is that it changes as the light changes. When the sun shoots in through the east window, I always watch for that first long straight ray. It changes so quickly that I never can quite believe it. That is why I watch it always by moonlight. The moon shines, and all night when there is a moon, I wouldn't know it was the same paper. At night, in any kind of light, in twilight, candlelight, lamplight, and worst of all, by moonlight, it becomes bars. The outside pattern, I mean, and the woman behind it as plain as can be. I didn't realize for a long time what the thing was that showed behind. That dim sub-pattern, but now I'm quite sure it is a woman. By daylight she is subdued, quiet. I fancy it is the pattern that keeps her so still. It is so puzzling. It keeps me quiet by the hour. I lie down ever so much now. John says it is good for me and to sleep all I can. Indeed, he started the habit by making me lie down for an hour after each meal. It is a very bad habit, I am convinced. For you see, I don't sleep. And that cultivates deceit. For I don't tell them I'm awake. Oh no! The fact is, I am getting a little afraid of John.
Sister-in-law, in proper 19th century dress, enters the doorway holding baby, short back.
My heavens.
She covers the eyes of the baby, turns away.
Brother John, you don't want to see this.
Husband John, a gentleman, marches confidently in.
What in tarnation? The doctor ordered the curtains down.
I shut the window when I brought her tea.
He walks over to close window, draws curtain.
Good wife, my little girl, this is beyond all reason. You must endeavor to restrain your great imaginative powers. Let me return you to bed.
He moves toward her. Charlotte scuttles away from him like a crazed crab.
John, shall I?
Please remove the baby to the nursery, sister. My patience is tried. I shall summon Dr. Silas Ware Mitchell. His rest cure is renowned for hysteria.
I'll fetch the steam-powered manipulator.
Both exit. Charlotte tries the window and door, locked. Scratches at walls desperately. Music returns. Dr. Mitchell strides in with confidence. Behind him, sister-in-law lugs a frightening device.
Madame Me Bovary, French smut, Anna Corindamum, trashy romance novel. Didn't I instruct you? She used to have no exposure to fanciful ideas.
I can't imagine how they came to be. I've performed my duties.
If your sister is ever to be well, she must follow my prescription. Have about 2 hours intellectual life a day and never touch pen, pencil, brush as long as you live.
Yes, doctor.
Sister-in-law gathers rope.
Ready now? 1, 2, button your shoe. 3, 4, shut the door.
Door slams. Sister-in-law and Dr. Mitchell rush Charlotte and corner her. Attacked, subdued with rope, dragged to bed.
Let that woman out of the wall.
But first you need to get better, dear.
They begin to tie Charlotte to the bed.
Prepare for treatment.
Ah!
Hester turns on machine. Neighbor bursts into the room holding a note.
I beg your pardon, and you are?
Neighbor dressed with a touch of Wild West gunslinger.
A concerned neighbor. I was taking my morning constitutional. Do it every day after breaking my fast with cold bread and grape preserves. When the darnest thing, a note flew by in the breeze. So this must be the damsel in distress.
John. Oh, John.
I'm afraid John won't be disposed to help you.
The baby.
Neighbor kisses Charlotte passionately, both surprised, then sits on the bed casually and lights a cigar. Neighbor blows smoke at the doctor. Charlotte erupts and giggles of nervousness.
So, where do you put the business end of this here thing?
Enough, my dear fellow, I beg of you.
I'll tell you when you've had enough.
Uncle!
Listen to this. I've got more pieces of the wallpaper. There is no female mind. Did you come up with that on your own, Beth?
No, it was me. I did some research from the writings of Charlotte Pinkins Gilbert.
Clever girl.
You mean Charlotte Perkins Gilman?
Here's another one. My mind has given way. That one was Beth's.
Beth, are you okay?
How about me? I'm not okay. I'm going mad from your foreplay. Mercy, mercy.
That's not the safe word.
Come on, Joe.
We rehearsed this.
What's black and white and
Very well, Panda Bear.
What? I didn't hear you.
Panda Bear!
Jolly good. Here's a cigar.
A little help with the rope?
Amy sexily unties him. They all crowd on the bed, laughing and applauding.
It's the best we've had yet.
Only for you, Joe.
I'm still working on the ending.
I don't see how you can write and act such splendid things, Joe. You're a regular Shakespeare.
I'm glad you like my adaptation of The Yellow Wallpaper. Next, I want to try Macbeth. Turn, hellhound, turn! My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out.
Out, damn baby, out, I say.
Beth, dear, you shouldn't say damned.
I like good strong words that mean something.
Let's get some fresh air in here.
Amy opens window.
And Josephine, you shouldn't smoke a cigar. It's not ladylike.
Oh, fiddlesticks. That's why I do it. I ain't a lady.
Oh, Joe, I do love your slang words. You're such a new American woman.
Beth sits on Joe's lap and puts her arm around Joe's neck, head and on shoulders.
You might loosen up a little on the rope next time. Josephine the Avenger. I'm tingling all over.
Poor Teddy.
Amy massages Teddy.
Enough of that.
Joe gives Teddy a whack.
So, aren't you glad we admitted our boy to the Pickwick Club? Now that Meg's gone. But Teddy's filling her pretty slippers with bigger feet.
Not as big as yours, Joe.
Here's the new Samuel Pickwick.
Aye. Teddy, you cut a dashing figure in that doctor's coat with your curly hair and long nose. You're a regular, Mr. Dartmouth.
You mean Mr. Darcy?
Oh,
Oh, go on. You rascals flatter me.
be serious, Teddy. Why not go to med school?
I'd hate it. It's nothing but grinding and pegging away at books. I'm more suited to skylarking.
And Amy's a silly goose.
If Teddy's a skylark and Amy is a goose, what am I, please?
You're a dear, and nothing else.
You're an angel.
You sounded crazy as a loon, screaming bloody murder.
You went the whole hog.
Quite melodramatic. Better than in rehearsals.
I was saving my voice.
And I've been saving my appetite. Beg pardon, ladies and Jen, but I promised to mosey on home and join the old man for supper. Until the next theatrical. Au revoir.
Goodbye,
Bye,
Teddy.
Teddy. Farewell.
Beth, still in dressing gown, swoons onto fainting couch. Amy changes her costume on stage.
What is it, Becky? Your cheeks are flushed scarlet. You don't have a crush on little Teddy, do you?
Joe, don't be so coarse. Beth, dear, are you feeling weak?
I feel
You're bright pink.
I feel feverish.
I'll get her a cool compress.
Well, Josephine, it's not fair to hog Teddy to yourself if you don't want him.
I most certainly do want him. He's the best guy pal I've got, and I won't have any of you niminy-piminy chits turning him into some doting fool who picks up your dropped gloves.
Aren't you getting a little too old to be playing with boys?
Who wants to grow up if it means being prim as a poky old woman? I'm still mad that I wasn't allowed to go fight with Papa in the War of Rebellion.
But now you're almost 20. Practically an old maid. Let me help you turn up your hair.
Ouch! I'd rather die a spinster and have a bit of fun.
Your hair's all snarly. Were you rolling around in the haystack? When was the last time you brushed it?
You made a porcupine of yourself.
Well, I'll be hanged if I have to spend half the day in front of a looking glass. I've got better things to do. I'm working at the second act of Josephine the Avenger.
Joe, we promised we'd finish the sewing for the war orphans tonight, remember?
Oh, how dreary. We haven't had a night off to frolic in a coon's age. What a burden it is to be a girl.
Joe, your face is like a thundercloud. Look in a fine pucker.
Quite unladylike.
Change it before you frighten me.
And change out of Papa's pants.
No way! Papa's trousers feel spandy nice. They give me a bounce to my feet, as if I could do anything.
What if someone were to see you in your boyish ways?
Who visits us anyways? It's as dull as the tombs in here.
I wish Meg were here to sing to us. She had a voice like a flute. She always improved our mood.
Why don't I read to you girls while you work?
That would be phantasmagoric.
You mean fantastic. Bethy, do you have enough voice after your killing scream?
Yes, if you sew quietly, my throat is rather sore.
I'll light a fire. Oops. There goes another glove.
How many times have we told you?
It was okay for Meg to scold me because she was my elder sister, but not you.
Girls, please don't be wicked tonight. I don't have the strength.
Beth is right. Let's be cheery.
Here's your half of the pile.
You better not give me the socks. I bundled the heels last time.
You sewed all the pairs together.
But you can't do eyelets either. And I adore stitching ribbons on the collars. It's my specialty.
Give me all the pocket handkerchiefs.
Beth, have you been playing with my poppet?
I need another doll for the tea party.
Let her amuse herself with it, Amy.
No, I shan't. It's my favorite pincushion. I sewed on the little waistcoat myself.
Shall I read from our book?
Beth opens a large old-fashioned book. Joe and Amy sew.
A summary of Part 1, Little Women. 4 gay girls in the house and a dashing young neighbor over the way.
Teddy dashes over, gives a little bow, tips his hat, holds out a soiled glove to Joe, teasing her.
I found something of yours in the haystack.
Well, now we've only got 3 gay girls in the house since Meg had to go off and get married. Give me that.
But Meg wanted to get married. Her dear John cherishes her.
Well, so do I treasure her, and nobody consulted me.
You're old enough to leave off boyish tricks and behave better, Josephine.
Fiddlesticks! I don't approve of the match. But I've made up my mind to bear it.
Well now, don't be dismal. There's a good fellow. Meg is happy. It will be very jolly to see Meg in her own little house.
You can't know how hard it is for me to give up Meg. It can never be the same again.
Joe begins crying in earnest. Beth puts her arm around her.
Poor Joe.
Let me start again. You can't know how hard it is for me to give up Meg. It can never be the same again. I've lost my dearest friend.
You got me anyhow. We'll have capital times. We'll go abroad or some nice trip or other. Wouldn't that console you?
We're so happy. The 4 sisters together. I don't think life could be much improved.
Amy picks up a magazine.
Well, it says here in Part 2, Chapter 1, that Meg is perfectly satisfied and so happy.
I think it's dreadful to break up families.
Well, you're the second daughter.
I can't get over my disappointment in not being a boy.
As the second sister, you'll go next.
Me? I don't like that sort of thing. Nonsense.
Beth takes the magazine from Amy.
Oh, here we are at Meg's wedding. They stood watching her with faces full of love and hope and tender pride as she walked away, leaning on her husband's arm, with her hands full of flowers and the June sunshine brightening her happy face. And so Meg's married life began.
I'm going to vomit daisies.
Oh, Joe.
That's not your line.
You dropped your handkerchief. I think I'll keep it in for my own pocket.
Lights dim as Teddy exits, and Joe, Beth, and Amy trudge off to bed, singing.
Oh, my darling, oh, my darling,
Oh, my darling Clementine, you were lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine.
how I missed her, how I missed her, how I missed my Clementine. Till I kissed her little sister and forgot my Clementine.
End of scene 1. Scene 2. Right outdoors. Joe and Amy carrying sewing baskets back to the house. Amy daintily, Joe scuffed, skipping and twirling.
Why must he whistle?
Because the sun is shining and the bluebells are blooming. Here, let me put some violets in your hair. Pretty.
Wait, your bonnet is topsy-turvy. And put your skirt back on.
The world is topsy-turvy. It's springtime. I love to frolic in my knickerbockers.
I guess it's easy to be happy if you don't have the problems I do. Oh, how I wish I had a straight nose.
A nose is a nose is a nosegay. Let's pick a tussy-mussy for Beth.
Joe and Amy gather a bouquet.
Ring-a-ring-a-rosy, a pocket full of posies. All the girls in our town ring for little Josie. Ring-a-ring-a-rosy, a pocket full of posies. All the girls in our town ring for little Josie.
Joe and Amy enter the house laughing and playful.
Beth! Hey, Beth! Hey, Rosie!
Don't say hey. It's slang.
Beth is lying on a fainting couch.
Beth, are you all right? What's wrong?
Joe and Amy rush up to her. Joe spills the flowers. A beat. Beth sits up.
Who? You rascal.
What are you hiding?
You can't fool her. What are you hiding? You can't fool old Joe. You're blushing.
Oh, nothing.
Joe tickles her.
Uncle, Panda Bear.
Joe stops.
I have a treat for you ladies. Look what came by post.
Beth pulls a magazine out from under the pillow.
New issue, spring 1869.
The next serial installment of our story by Louisa May Alcott. Part 2, Chapter 2.
Joe, Beth, and Amy gather closely together, with Joe leaning over, as they did with Father's letters in Little Women, tableau.
Have you peeked?
Not even at the cover.
It says, good tidings for Joe.
Ooh, maybe I sold one of my thrillers. Look for the title, Josephine the Avenger.
They've chosen a title for Little Women Part 2, Good Wives.
Good wives. That doesn't sound very interesting.
Let's see what it says about Joe. Queer-looking man.
Oh, sounds intriguing. Maybe he's the editor.
Poor as a church mouse.
Huh. Well, that's not very promising.
Rather stout, bushy beard, pearl nose.
Sounds like St. Nick.
Joe, don't you get it?
Oh, Joe, look on the next page. You're engaged.
Beth gives Joe a kiss.
That can't be true. I don't like mustaches. Let me see that.
Joe flips through the magazine.
Oh, no. You do not. Louisa May Alcott. Not a matter of mutton chops. We had a deal. Look, page 365. I don't believe I shall ever marry. I am happy as I am. I love my liberty too well to be in any hurry to give it up for any mortal man. How clear do you need it?
I wonder if you'll ever grow up, Joe.
I'll never change. I can feel it. I'm afraid there's something terribly wrong with me. I'll always stay devoted to my literature. And you, Becky dear.
And your Professor Bar, how do you pronounce his name?
He's not my professor. What kind of name is Friedrich? A French name like Françoise would have been much more romantic.
At least you won't have to be a spinster now, like ugly old Aunt March.
Oh yeah? Why don't you marry him?
Oh no, with my grace and prepossession of Francais, I'll catch a rich man with a noble brow and curly hair and a long straight nose.
You're asking for him, Miss Malaprop.
We'll go live in Paris.
Joe chases Amy out of the room.
Help!
Joe pulls out her sword, begins swinging, trashing the room.
No, no, no. Louisa May, show yourself. You promised. You know I've never fallen the least bit in love with any man. I love my sisters. Don't make me French kiss that jolly old elf. I'll kill myself. Where's my dagger?
Joe rummages around in costume trunk and pulls out dagger. Louisa May Alcott emerges and sits behind desk with quill, ink pot, stacks of paper.
Look, Joe, I was pressured by the publisher. My readers sent hundreds of letters demanding a proper wedding for Joe.
I knew it was a bad idea to let Meg go. It set the wrong kind of precedent.
The ladies in the book club want what's best for you. I could have him shave.
No.
I'm sorry, it's a done deal. Chapters 2 is already in print. He's a good man.
He's like a little teapot, old and stout. Write me out of marriage. Write me out.
A wedding for Joe is a firm stipulation in the book deal. No wedding, no contract. They'll sue for my advance check. The advance that paid for that dagger you're holding, by the way. All your props will be repoed, including those pants you're wearing.
I'll jerk the dagger on myself and then you can return it. Please, Louisa, please. This is not the direction we discussed. I don't want to be a governess or a schoolmarm or a wife. I want to write.
Beth creeps up and begins thumbing through Louisa's stack of papers.
Sequel number 1, Good Wives. Sequel number 2, Joe's Boys.
Ugh.
Oh, look! Amy's gonna marry Teddy.
Beth reading becomes sad. Wipes eyes.
What? No way. Teddy's mine.
But remember, you rejected his marriage proposal.
No, you rejected his proposal on my behalf. Because I didn't feel that way about him. I would have said yes if I'd known you were going to turn around and stab me in the back and marry me off to some man with mutton chops. At least Teddy and I always had fun.
The readers wanted the rich, eligible bachelor next door to marry one of you March girls, to save the family from genteel poverty.
Well, then he should go to Beth. Beth is a third sister. She's next in line. Right, Pat?
Still reading ahead, begins coughing violently.
It's okay, I understand.
Why did you stop reading? Let me see that. Scarlatina. Oh no. That can't happen.
I'll accept my cup, like the traveler of Pilgrim's Progress. It'll be my bundle.
Women readers really respond to pathos. The Bronte sisters are trending. Typhoid, tuberculosis.
It was bad enough that you stole Meg away. Then you want to marry me off, kill Beth off, and have my bratty little sister run off with my best boy pal? Don't just stand there. She's plotting to kill you. Fight for your life.
Joe grabs father's Civil War gun and positions Beth with gun trained on Louisa. Ties up Louisa, lights a cigar.
Joe, you're being melodramatic.
It's in my nature.
It isn't like you to be so stubborn.
Maybe it's the pants talking. I can't bear to lose Beth. Okay, here's my list of demands. Number 1, write me out of the engagement. Number 2, don't let Beth die of scarlet fever. Number 3, I want to wear pants.
Josephine.
Beth resolves with the gun is faltering. She looks back and forth between Joe and Louisa May Alcott.
It's time for a rewrite.
You can't escape your narrative. Certain things have already been imprinted.
Joe grabs Beth like a hostage and points gun at Beth's head.
Start writing, or I'll mess up your plot even worse.
Chapter 3, Runaway Train. Dear readers, I hope you are sitting in your favorite armchair as you learn of the latest upset with our headstrong second daughter, Jo.
Keep going.
Jo writes Professor Bear a hasty yet heartfelt letter turning down his proposal with sincerest apologies, but she has to follow her call to adventure.
Good start. Come on, Louisa, follow your heart.
Jo gathered together her writing satchel, her sewing kit, a novel, and her father's Remington revolver from the war. She grabbed a wad of bills from the mason jar, stuffed everything into a worn carpet bag, and put on a men's hat. She caught horse and buggy.
Wait, change the pronoun to they. I'm taking Beth with me.
And I'm taking the cat.
Beth, do you have the call? Very well. Jo and Beth caught a cart horse to the Boston and Lowell Railroad station and hopped on the train.
Yes, Louisa, yes. I'll take it from there.
Joe grabs Louisa May Alcott's writing quill and, half carrying Beth, they run off the stage unnoticed. Teddy follows them. End of Act 1.
Intermission for our delicious, nutritious snack foods.
There we go. Hello, welcome. Y'all know the deal. 10 to 15 minutes. Let's just give it up for this undeniably hot beer.